Now viewers, if controversy had a synonym down south, it would be Telugu superstar Nandamuri Balakrishna. From allegedly shooting his producer to slapping his fans and now even shoving an actress on stage, there's hardly anything controversial and embarrassing that the man hasn't done. And we aren't even considering the action sequences in his movies. If you're on social media, you might have seen this recent video of Balakrishna pushing actress Anjali on stage at a pre-release event. The act has ignited a firestorm on social media, raising several questions about the dark underbelly of this film industry, especially down south. In fact, some visuals going viral on social media show that a bottle filled with liquor was kept near Balakrishna at the same event. Now, this incident is not an isolated one, viewers, as Balakrishna's past is riddled with controversies. But the bigger issue we want to really highlight today is the disturbing trend of misogyny and hero worship in Southern cinema. It's nothing but a dangerous breeding ground for unchecked power and entitlement among several actors. We aren't really exonerating other movie industries here. But the fan phenomenon in South India is unique, with fans often treating their favorite stars as demigods here. This extreme devotion can sometimes lead to dangerous consequences, as seen in the past when fans have rioted, committed suicide, or even caused widespread disruption for their favorite stars. Now, the sentiments of fans are understandable to an extent, but such worship fans can also enable really actors to behave recklessly, as they believe they're untouchable. The other big issue, viewers, we are about to raise today is the treatment of women. For example, a Tamil actor named Mansoor Ali Khan recently expressed disappointment about missing out on a bedroom scene with his co-star Trisha. The portrayal of women too has often been limited to stereotypical roles such as the damsel in distress or the brat who needs to be tamed by a powerful male protagonist. All this, does it really perpetuate harmful gender stereotypes and make it a norm, and then all this is lapped up and considered normal by the smitten fans? The big questions we're asking tonight, viewers, are: how is a man with such a history of problematic behavior not being called out? Women naming and shaming powerful men are often shot down by character assassinations. Is that why hardly anyone is speaking out at this point in time? And in fact, even in the video, we are looking at, the actress there hardly saying anything. In fact, smiles. Probably knows because she's going to be helpless. Nobody's going to come to her defense, considering this individual is a big face in the Telugu film industry, in the political circles as well. So while all of this, of course, is happening, she just smiles. So let me open this up and try to get perspectives from different panelists joining us today. Ravi Rai, film and TV writer and producer, is also a director. We are joined in by him. Priyadarshini Singh, actress. Talish Ray, advocate, is with us. Barkat Hareen, activist, also joining us today. Let me take this across first to Mr. Ravi Rai. Mr. Rai, how do you really look at instances like this coming to the fore, and especially somebody like Mr. Balakrishna has time and again done this, has been in the eye of the storm over controversies very similar. Either make a statement demeaning women, come out and push a woman on stage in full public view, and the fans are applauding at the back.
You see, to begin with, I don't think whether you're a celebrity or a politician or whosoever you are, it gives you a concession to the social decorum. It doesn't. And looking at this particular video, very honestly,
There's no concession. In fact, if you're a celebrity, if you're in a position of such power, your responsibility is higher than anybody else. Because, you are somewhere a role model to thousands of people.
Yes, exactly. That's what I say. That's what I said. It doesn't give you any concession for a social decorum. It doesn't. But I'm much more appalled at this actress. You said she was smiling. She wasn't smiling. She was laughing away. It's a very simple thing. If you want to be respected by others, you should respect yourself first. Isn't it a quote which says nobody can humiliate you without your own consent? You say, she was too scared. Would people, haven't the women stood up to these kind of things before this.
Mr. Rai, let's
have.
not question, how she reacted at that point in time, considering the fact that, she knows there are cameras, people who know her. She does not know what exactly happened at that point in time. So many things running in her mind. She knows she's in front of hundreds of people. Probably she didn't want to react the way she did. But, we can't hold her accountable for her reaction there on stage.
So what is the debate? The debate is
But that doesn't take away anything from the fact of what he did.
No, I'm saying she should have reacted to it. Why didn't she react to it?
I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Rai, but it's difficult. It could be difficult at certain point, at certain junctures to react in the way that you possibly could have, possibly considering, like I said, there are so many cameras, so many people from the production unit, so many fans there. At that point in time, she probably thought it was best to laugh it off. But that doesn't really, take away the fact that this individual has pushed her, caused an embarrassing situation there for the actress.
Very
because she's just smiling it away.
Yeah. So that's not a weapon. That's not a tool to smile it away publicly. That certainly is not a weapon or a tool for her. She could have given it back to her. It's a dignity. Haven't women stood up for their dignity before? They have. And haven't people joined them in a rally? Yes, they have.
Well, I agree. While I agree there were choices to either stand up, now the question is not about her whether she could have stood up or whether she didn't. Now the situation there, the person in question is a politician, he's a renowned actor, has his, of course, way around in the industry. There are so many things, of course, that could be running through her mind at that point in time. So let's not really debate her expressions or the way she chose to react, Mr. Ravi, that's all I'm saying. Because that's not the point of the debate really.
No, whatever he did, this is absolutely, whatever said is, what he did is wrong. He shouldn't have done it. It is such a uncivilized behavior on stage. He may be a star at home, but how does the public react to it? Is there any FIR? Is there any legal reports on this? No, there is nothing. I don't think there is anything. He'll be let off.
Well, up until now, the TDP hasn't really reacted. You don't have anyone from the film industry who's spoken out. If people don't condemn and condone such behavior, then, things are going to continue happening. And this man is a repeat offender who continues to, embarrass women in public, who continues to speak ill of them, say what he wants. Priyadarshini Singh, when you have such an instance that's coming to the fore, is such a thing that's going viral on social media, do you feel it's the collective responsibility of, film industries, of superstars, of stars to come out and condemn such behavior? Because when they don't, they're hypocrites themselves.
See, I'll tell you what, I'm completely astonished with the fact that, a senior filmmaker, Raviji, has mapped, comments like that she would have reacted and stuff like that. It's easy to preach than act, frankly, I feel that. Very easy to preach somebody that you're supposed to act in a certain way. But, I'm from the industry and I worked for over a decade in the industry, television industry, and even in the Bhojpuri industry and South also. South also, I've done a couple of projects. What I could make out in the industry is that, there are projects where, things like that happen and I walked out of it. Because to have my own dignity, but probably the reason is that I did not had any pressure. I did not had loans to pay. I did not had a family pressure, and also there are people of different kinds. There are actresses of different kind. Ambition to what level person has is also comes in the factor, and definitely they do treat actresses as doormats. Some of the South Indian and Bhojpuri actors, I don't want to name the actor. It looks very demeaning. But right now, a very superstar Bhojpuri actor is contesting election. And the way he treated in one of the movies, I had to walk out from that movie. Because it was the ill treatment which I couldn't take it. Probably I had this, chance to, walk out. Not everybody has that. So we need to understand the factor. Being a female, working in the industry where you do not have a godfather, you do not come from a legacy, it is very hard to survive there. And these superstars do treat you as, Okay. She's there with us and she's going to be working with us. So they do not treat us with a lot of dignity, and that is something which is demeaning. I think rather than blaming the female that she should supposed to react, you don't know the backstory. You don't know what our issues are. You don't know the problems are. Rather, you should slam this superstar. And I want to talk about the audience also. Audience should be aware about it, and especially in India, we treat our superstar as God. We need to understand their actors, their
Yeah.
acting in movies. What we usually forget, what they're acting as goody boys in the pictures, usually they are not like that. So different picture altogether. And audience also have to need to take the actions. And I would only rather say I am definitely sympathetic with this female, and I understand her feeling completely because I have gone through it and I totally get it. And I'm not at all
Okay.
astonished. I'm not
Talish
at all
Ray,
astonished, frankly.
And this is the opinion of many of them, Priyadarshini, just not yours. But the question
Yeah.
is, and it's quite appalling to see that many of them who have similar opinions don't come out and speak, where they don't voice their
I'll tell
opinion
you
because,
one more thing
these
I
are
wanted
big
to put it
stars.
across. Okay, one more thing I want to put across. Many of the
Exactly my point.
actresses, many of the actresses who come, they come usually at the age of 15, 16, 17. They're not educated. I'll tell you what. And then unfortunately, 80 and 90% of the actresses are not able to complete their education. So what happens is they have no other option to work in the industry. And you cannot fight with your bosses. They are bosses. These superstars are bosses. You cannot fight with your bosses when you're working in our organization. It is something like you'll be kicked off.
Yeah.
So, I was lucky enough
Yeah.
that I was educated enough.
Right. I'll also bring in Talish Ray here. Of course, right now there's no complaint as such that has been filed. There is no legal aspect to it. But do you feel that there is a need to really have a cell of sorts in the film industry where women can, of course, come out openly, put out their grouses, put out their concerns that they face, either on or off camera, or probably do it without their name being highlighted, so that such matters can be looked into, because this is a serious concern and many of these actresses have pointed out in the past. Now in this case, of course, she hasn't come out and spoken about it. There have been instances where they have, but there's nobody to listen. Many of them do not want to really make that issue public because they feel that it's going to damage their career and probably have an impact in the long run. So how do they really deal with such instances?
Right. Okay. So can you hear me clearly at the moment? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
So can you hear me at the moment? Am I clear? Am I audible?
You are clear, you're audible. Please go ahead.
You are.
All.
Yeah.
So let me start by first addressing some of the concerns that you are highlighting regarding overarching patriarchy, sexism, and the lack of equality that exists within the film industry. And I think I saw Mr. Rai talking about why the reaction. Let me also tell you about a couple of other reactions. Now let's go way back in the early 2007 or 8. If you remember, a national award-winning actress, Padma Priya Janaki Raman, was slapped by a director and then thereafter took legitimate action. In 2017, actress Bhavna from the Malayalam film industry was assaulted. Her case is still pending. And thereafter, as an impact of that, there was the Women in Cinema Collective that was founded in Kerala, and albeit all of the southern Indian industries, because it had actresses that had walked out and demanded the very same thing, the dignity of women at workplace when they are working within the film industry. And as a result of that, the Kerala High Court was pleased to grant an order in a PIL filed by them way back in 22, demanding that every film organization of cine artists, be it at any industrial level, is supposed to form a cell under the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act of 2013. So far as the law goes, it is not that it has not been mandated. The second part of this is what happens to all of these women that have protested. Whether it is the Women in Cinema Collective that had to take it at a PIL level, one must individually also understand that these reactions that are driven, which have been so shamed, instead of turning around and saying, yeah, well, this is not acceptable. It's not a question of whether it's acceptable or not. This is assault. This is public assault that took place. And what the other person's reaction was, I'm not sure what was expected of the person, because if you're on stage and you're pushed, what is it that you do other than the fact that you turn around and give it back to them? Look at the reaction of the people that are standing on stage. They're also all laughing. You laugh away out of embarrassment. Sometimes you laugh away out of anger as well. So that cannot be taken at another level. Now, so far as this current incident is concerned, what I see is again a co-option for those that are in power. This is not just a film star. He's a very respected one. Also a member of the Legislative Assembly. And as such, as not just a public servant and a publicly elected representative, but also as an actor who has been held in great esteem. With over 100 movies, I'm told, he is supposed to be held to a particular public standard. And given that this incident has come in front, what is stopping the local police station from taking action on this? This could be something that it doesn't need to be something that needs to get reported. So which also brings to the question as to what really happens. And I think you were focusing on the Southern Indian industry, but let's go back to the fact that the hashtag #MeToo in India started with the Mumbai film industry, the Hindi film industry that happened. And similarly, there have been incidents all over. So what happens to these women when they do actually raise a protest? It doesn't really work out. What has happened to all those under which a hashtag #MeToo was raised? So it's a conundrum that is there, which is to also say that it's not that this is happening more frequently. Please understand that post your 2010, especially with the hashtag #MeToo rising from Hollywood, there has also been a greater media attention. This kind of behavior was condoned. Currently, it gets the kind of spotlight that it should, and it doesn't stop the state authorities or the courts from summoning the person. It's as simple as that. There's nothing stopping or barring anyone, including that somebody present in the audience, from registering an FIR.
Okay. Barka, I want you to come in as well. The other aspect that I also want to discuss here is, of course, there's a film industry. We've spoken about how many of them haven't spoken about this instance, haven't really condemned it. We haven't really seen anybody speak in favor of this young actress. Keeping all that aside, he also belongs to, of course, a political party here, where nothing has been spoken from their end too. Last time they say that he's learned a lot from his father about how to respect women. This was, of course, a previous case when he had made quite a cross, comment at that point in time about women as well. A statement at least came in. Now nothing has come in.
See, whatever has happened, I condemn it. It shouldn't have happened, firstly. Secondly, what triggered it? How did it happen? What was the sequence? We need to understand that as well. Then she laughed it out. Maybe it might be a joke. Who knows it? What is the back end story? We don't know about that. And nobody else has reacted also. And people here are talking about Me Too. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, you are audible.
Am I audible? Yeah.
But I don't. You're audible, Barka. Go ahead.
People here are talking about. Yeah, people here are talking about Me Too. Me Too movement. What happened? Only media attention, only media hype. Me Too died its own death. How many cases were false in Me Too? So don't ever think that only Me Too. There is a Men Too side as well. So have we heard what happened before that? What triggered?
What is the man side here, Barka? What is the man side here? Please tell me what's the man side here, because now whatever side there may be, whatever back end story there may be on camera pushing this woman the way that he did, is that respectful to any woman? Is that respectful to any individual?
I said it initially only.
Even if it was a man there, we would question it.
But don't you think there?
Then what are you saying that let's look at his perspective? Even if there was a child there, if it was a man there or if it was a woman there, we are going to be questioning it because that behavior is uncalled for, especially on a public platform. There is no aspect of here saying that we have to look at his perspective. What is his perspective here?
There might be no intention.
What do you think of behind story that justifies somebody pushing somebody on stage in front of cameras?
That is why she was. Why did she laugh it out?
I am very sorry.
Why did she laugh it out?
Miss Rehan, no. I am so sorry. Neither do the reactions nor do the intentions matter, madam.
Don't bring Me Too in
no,
every
go
case.
Back and read
don't
the law.
Bring Me Too every case because women have always had the liberty to speak out everything. In even the Talish Ray Me Too case, Talish Ray started
want to
it.
reconsider
And she was
whether it is your
always heard.
internalized
Who heard the Men to
talking.
story?
Yeah, it does
Who
not
heard
matter,
Nana
madam, by
Patekar?
the law, it
Who
doesn't
heard
matter.
Okay.
Vivek Agnihotri? Did you ever hear the other side of the story? What
I
was
have
Nana
heard all
Patekar's
sides of the
story?
story,
Did
madam. You
Nana
can go and
Patekar
keep
not
filming
get a
about
clean
that
chit?
fact. There is
Did
no denying
Vivek
it.
Agnihotri
Please
not?
please don't
Who is
pretend
Vivek
to be an
Agnihotri?
activist
Did he
when
get
you're
a
doing
clean
that.
chit?
Please don't.
Did he
Please don't
get
do
a
that
clean
lip
chit in
service, madam.
this Me Too?
Go and
Who
check
brought
your
this Me Too?
internalized
Who
misogyny.
brought
You
this
will
Me Too?
find that
Tanushri
this is
Datta.
not going
We
to
have to
serve you.
hear. See,
Please come
all
back
men
on
are not.
track. Do
See,
not
we
come
cannot
out
only
with
go
Okay,
on
if we are going to just shout it out and speak over each other, the viewers aren't going to hear you. We are not going to get a clear picture. Barka, make your point. Make your point quickly. I'll come back to Priyadarshini and Ray as well. Just 30 seconds, Barka. Make your point.
Just 30 seconds. Dear anchor and all the panelists, have you heard the other side of the story? You've just saw a short clipping. What happened before that? Maybe it was a sequence. Maybe it was something else. You just saw. Why do you get
It was
so
a sequence to
triggered
what?
whenever a man is there? Take it lightly. She herself has laughed it out. Take it lightly. Take some things lightly. It's nothing like that. You have to every time.
No, Barka,
cry
you
out.
please
It's not like that.
please tell me.
That is
you
why.
please tell me. This is not because she's a woman or because she's helpless. This is the same thing that we would have asked if this was somebody else in that situation. The question that I'm asking you is, if you were on that stage and whatever scenario played out backstage and whatever backstory there is, would you be okay with somebody pushing you like that in front of hundreds of cameras and hundreds of people and then being applauded for? Would you be comfortable if that happened to you?
Just reverse the genders. Will you be even discussing it? Will you even talk it? Will you even put a one-liner in your channel? No, never. So forget it.
Well, of course we would. If it was anybody who was doing this, and if anybody they think they
You
can
will
get away by
never.
doing anything
I
they can, we have
challenge you,
always
you will
questioned
never.
that. Now you don't turn the
challenge
question
you.
back on me,
I
Barka.
challenge
Barka, you need to answer
I
the question that I
challenge
asked
you. You
you.
will never.
Put yourself in that position and say it's okay. Tell me
You
that
need
it's
to
okay.
answer
Tell
my
me if there was a
question.
backstory
need
to it, you would
answer
be
first my
fine.
question. Just reverse the genders.
Well,
Just
you're not
reverse
answering
the
mine and
genders
I'm not
let
here
me
to
know.
answer
Will
yours.
you ever discuss this?
Barka,
You
you're
let
the
me
one
know.
who's making a bizarre statement here.
So it's so simple.
Okay, Talish Ray, please come in. You wanted to respond as well.
It is
Yes,
always
I did want to
triggered
respond.
when
You
there
see,
is a
because
point
at the end
you
of it,
discuss
madam,
only
madam,
when-
Okay, Barka,
kindly go
Barka,
back
I've
wherever
given you
come
enough
from.
time.
It's okay.
I've
All
given you
right.
enough time.
Yes, thank you. So the only response that I have is that I think somewhere it's also what do we see on stages? What do we see from our idols? I think it's a reflection of our society. It's very sorry to hear about, look at this perspective, even though there is a law, even though it took a Nirbhaya for a whole bunch of women who stood there in Rajpath and faced the ire of the then government to continue to protest. And you still have questions like, would it have been the same if it was being pushed a man? Let me just tell you what one of my favorite feminists posted today. He said, if there is one woman in if there's one man in a room full of women, all the men are excited. But if there's a woman in a room full of men, she's normally terrified. And a lot of people talked about how the terror that goes through, and we cover that terror up. It's just a sorry state to hear the cover up that's happening for a public figure, for an elected representative. Please, let's not forget that there is a code that exists for elected representative and shoving people around, least of all because of their gender. And then talking about what reactions are there. Those reactions are the same on the stage. People are laughing there. You have currently you have two people here who were slightly apologetic about this thing and said, oh, it is wrong, but did you look at her reaction? That's what's happening on social media as well. And I think, maybe that's why it is what it is, because culturally that's what we expect as a norm. There's a powerful man, and we are perfectly happy to give that sort of an ace to any powerful person, unless it becomes our turn. And when it comes to our turn, then we howl about how law and order is not working for us. So it's a problem of privilege. That's about it.
I also want to bring another perspective here, Talish Ray. I want to bring in Priyadarshini to ask her this. As far as the film industry goes, are there, any bodies that have been set up? People have spoken about the Me Too movement. People have spoken about other issues that women have faced. Or for example, Barka was saying that, men too can be facing issues. But is there anyone or anywhere that people can go to, especially people in the film industry?
No, I'll tell you what, it's not within the film industry. Well, let's talk about, first of all, I'm very surprised, Barkha being a woman, talking like that, frankly. Physiologically, women are weaker than men, and there is no debate on that. Please understand, there is no debate on that. So, you need to understand that somebody is pushing you suddenly. You are so astonished with the fact, okay, what has he done? Okay, what do I do? So there are 10,000 thoughts which comes to your mind, and you're like, okay, no, I need to calm down. This is a public place, and I need to act properly. So in acting properly, she's laughing. You need to understand. So 30 seconds or 35 seconds, men do have their rights. Definitely do have rights for sure, but that doesn't give them the audacity to there are different kind of men also. This man definitely showing the patriarchy side of the society. Patriarchy side of the society, that I am a superior, I am a superstar, and I can do what I want to do, with you. So this is definitely very loud and clear, and we all have eyes to see.
Don't forget an
and
MLA.
It's very, very clear.
Don't forget, he's also an MLA, Priyadarshini, because it seems like from the film industry, he's got enough support. Then he's got the political backing.
Trust me, it's very embarrassing, and women talking like that is very embarrassing.
Very empowered women are there. Abla Naris are no more. No more Abla Naris. They confront each and everything. She could have slapped on his face.
No, I'm not talking about Abla Naris.
She could have reacted there and then.
Let's
she
face it, physiologically, women are not as well as like men are. Please understand this. Please understand this.
For a broader perspective, you need to understand the psychology of men as well. When we are talking about both genders,
I'm talking to a woman like that.
Okay, Priyadarshini, hold on. I want to listen to this. I want to listen to this. Priyadarshini, hold on. Barkha, you say we should understand the psychology of men. Okay, Barkha, you say we have to understand the psychology of men. I want you today to tell the viewers of Mirror Now, what's the psychology of this man? Barkha, please tell us, what's the psychology of this man when he pushes this young actress there on stage, acts as if he did no wrong? Tell me the psychology, since you seem to be an expert on the subject.
See you.
No, you are speaking like you're an expert on the subject. Tell us.
I'm in the studio.
Tell us, why do you think he's doing this?
I am telling
in front of the cameras, in front of the cameras, people applauding as he pushes an actress. What is the psychology here?
Let me explain. Give me a chance to explain. I'm in the studio and I don't like your questions.
Please
and
go
I'll
ahead.
slap you. What will you do? What will you do? I'm in the studio.
Well, this is about me asking you questions. You're again asking me questions. You were supposed to answer about the psychology that you are referring to. Please don't respond to questions with questions here.
Do you know what happened?
Barkha, you're here when there's a question directed at you. You can't throw a rhetoric at me. Please answer.
What happened?
Please answer.
Do you know? Yes. Do you know what?
Please answer.
Do you know the other side of the
You
story?
said.
What happened?
Do you know what happened?
I'm answering you.
Do you know what happened?
Do you know what happened?
I can see. From
you
the
know
visuals.
what happened?
From the visuals,
Yes,
whatever
I know.
happened at the background.
Yes, I know.
Barkha, hold on. Barkha, hold on. There's no need to just scream and shout over the others. If you know what happened in the background, you could have justified
I
it.
am not
The question
screaming
is,
and
what is on
shouting.
tape is uncalled for behavior. Whatever happened at the background does not justify this individual who's in a position of power from pushing a co-actor or an actress. And that's it. Whether it is a female there or a male doesn't matter. The question here is the behavior that is evident. You are then saying one should understand the psychology of this individual, but you're not able to tell me what's the psychology behind behaving like this in front of cameras and people and getting applauses for it.
So why was he triggered? What triggered him? Why did he do? This is the psychology. What happened before it? And the women.
So something triggers him. This is how he's going to behave.
There, she loved it out.
So something triggers him. It's okay to behave this way.
That means that everything was fine. that means everything was fine, nothing to worry about. But I don't know why you guys are so worried about it when the woman herself is not worried about it. She laughed it away. She said it's fine because
you don't know the
they might
position
be-
that the woman
they-
probably
it might
is,
be
and
done
we are
in a
not
joking manner.
making
Who knows
assumptions
it?
here. We are not making assumptions here. Probably didn't bother her at all, but there is a possibility that
I am
it did
also
as
not
well.
making assumptions.
But nonetheless, whether such behavior is warranted,
Please,
what
kindly
kind of
hear
a
the other
position
side
was
of
she
the
in?
story.
You know, considering the political clout he has, the clout he has in the film industry, what he could do to her career, all of this needs to be considered because of the way she would react. All of this will come into play. So we can't just dismiss it saying, well, she laughed it off. She could have
And now
reacted
her
and she
career
did.
is
It's her
safe.
fault.
And now her career is safe.
I'm not saying
And
anything
now
here.
her career
I'm
is
not
safe?
saying that it's safe
Is it?
or it's not. I'm saying at that point in time, what could have led to a reaction like that?
Her reaction should be, she should have slapped or she should have there and then spoken about it. She didn't. That means there is something wrong which happened before, which she will tell when the matter will be investigated. Go and do the investigation.
Okay,
This is not
Mr.
my
Ravi
part.
Rai, we've
I
had a
don't
lot of
have
other
to
perspectives
investigate.
as
You
well
guys
here.
have to
Two
investigate.
things that I want to ask you, Mr. Rai, here is: do you feel that the film chambers in all of these states and somewhere a collective body should be there to redress such issues if they want to privately and discreetly go and have this and somebody taking this up? Does that really make sense? And now you also have some individual here who's politically backed as well. And what do you do in such instances? Because you don't hear from the political parties usually, unless of course it's taken up quite extensively by media, social media, and then they are forced to. But until then, they don't seem to bother at all. And this is a very powerful political personality as well that we're talking about.
Yes. Now there are bodies. There are. I'm sure there must be in the south also. There here in Bollywood also. But let me ask you one thing, Deepak. Do you have the audio of the clip? Have you heard the audio of the clip?
Come to the point.
Deepak,
What's
can
the
you
point
hear
that you're
me?
trying to make, Ravi Rai?
Can you
I can
hear
hear
me?
you. Make your point.
Yeah, my point is, do you have the audio
I can hear
of
you
the
loud
clip
and clear.
that the 8-second clip that is going viral? Do you have the audio? Have you heard what they're talking?
Well, there is no clear audio on it. But does that justify, the video that we are seeing, the pictures that we are seeing?
I am
Does it
asking you,
justify
listen,
the pictures
we
that we
don't
see?
need to be aggressive. Do you have the audio to this
Well,
clip?
nobody here is being aggressive, Mr. Rai. I have answered there is no clear audio to this video, and I've asked you if that justifies this action is all that I asked you. There is
Listen,
nobody
Deepak,
here being aggressive.
Listen, Deepak. The point when I said in the beginning was whatever he's done looking at the video is wrong. She shouldn't be laughing. She should have slapped him right. This Priyadarshini also said, it happened to me, I walked off. Good, I will respect you all your life because you walked off. And then you come to terms and conditions of these actresses. मेरे सर पे लोन है, मेरे को गाड़ी का पैसे देना है, and these stuff. But coming back, कोई debate मत करो. You tell me. I am with Miss Barkha right now. कि maybe it was a joke. Maybe उसने एक one line humor बोल के उसको धक्का दिया. That's why she laughed. And you said कि people were applauding. Why would people applaud? People are mad if they were applauding. When you don't have the audio clip, why are you running and having a debate on the show?
It's completely, it is,
When you're
it
not
is in
sure.
the
No,
garb
listen,
of
listen.
it is
No,
all
listen.
right,
Well,
Listen,
whatever.
listen.
I don't
No.
understand this justification that you're coming up with, Mr. Rai. Now the justification that you're coming up with is why are people laughing? Probably it was a joke and then he pushed her.
No, but you don't
Does
have
that
an
look
audio
like
clip, sir.
somebody, jokingly
Sir, you
pushing
don't
somebody?
have an audio
Is that
clip.
something that's happening there? Now, neither do
want me-
you. Neither do you.
No.
But you're still defending what he's doing.
I'm not defending. The very first thing I said was she should have slapped him.
You are
You don't
justifying
listen
that
to
it
me.
could have been
You-
this
listen,
way.
listen,
He's
you don't
probably not
listen to
done
me.
something wrong.
No,
It
listen
probably
to
was.
me.
It was
My
probably a
line
joke.
was, listen
Well,
to
we
me,
are
Deep.
listening to you, Mr. Rai, but I don't want you to say the same thing over
said
and over again.
Being a celebrity or a politician doesn't give you a concession on a social this thing. It doesn't give you any concession. That was my opening line. And I said she should have slapped him. But you don't have the audio to this. And you want us to react the way you want us to react to this? Have the audio
No,
first.
I think they want us to react
Well,
like
the weed.
human beings that
Well,
believe
well,
in the dignity of every person.
Mr. Rai,
No,
there's
you
nobody
can't
asking you to
make-
react the way I'm
maybe
asking you for your
maybe he-
opinion.
maybe he
I'm
joked
asking
with
you
us,
for your
that is why-
opinion, and I've allowed you to put your opinion there for the viewers. The viewers, of course, will probably pick up what they want from each and every individual putting out their perspective. I'm not trying to force my opinion on you. If I feel that
No,
what you're saying, if I
simply
feel there is something that I
saying-
want to ask you in counter to it, and I'm doing that. And that's all has happened. Okay, you had a few points to make. Talish Ray, you've been you are an advocate yourself. Mr. Ravi here believes that, of course, there's no audio, so we shouldn't really come to conclusions. It could have even been a joke.
Yeah, so far as a joke goes, where do you go? And I mean, there is a concept of what is a good touch and a bad touch, and that has been defined. It has been defined in school textbooks as well. And humping somebody on stage like that, where you can see the initial reaction, the woman is shocked, is a part of something that would come under assault. So if you look at the other woman's reaction, her first reaction is also that of shock. But I'm not going to go about justifying and trying to prove my point to those that are disguised, misogynist, patriarchal, because I think at the end of the day, we as a society are where we are because we have people like Ms. Trehan, we have people like Mr. Ravi, and they are going to be responsible. So I hope they are able to look themselves in the eye the next time they say that, and then they come up with points such as the apology of how many of them were wrong and how many of them were right. It's a law that we've hard fought for. And we know what we did in order to be able to give our ground. I also want to make it a very clear point here. There are organizations in the film industry that have a redressal cell for this. For example, the Sinta in Mumbai has a very active IC or an internal committee that is there. So these are voluntary organizations that actors and actresses are part of. Indeed, people from all over the film industry are part of, and most of them have paid heed. So there is a forum that is available. But I think you touched upon the point: what happens because of the kind of power that lies with them? Because we understand that this kind of patriarchal crimes are more about the power that is wielded both by society, those that are a part of society, and say, hey, but you look at the back and look at the front and look at the audio and look at all of that. It is also a power that is given. In this case, this is a MLA as well. He's bound by a code of conduct that is there. And if socially and societally we do not hold them up to a particular standard, then there is very little hope. At the end of it, if we have people who call themselves activists and come up with men too, then they're not activists. They're sitting there being with their own internalized patriarchy. So that is there. No, don't scream at me.
Is there any harm in it?
Yes, absolutely, madam, but I'm not going to waste my time because you can keep doing your activism.
Well, what she wants to fight for is her. She's entitled to that, Talish Ray, and it's her perspective. But also here.
No, is it something wrong?
Okay, I've already said that. I've made a point that, of course, you're entitled to your opinion here, Barka. So let's put an end to that. Now, meanwhile, of course, we've had 4 panelists here put out their perspectives. Some of them believe it's outright, not justified to do this. And we have that footage that we can see where clearly, that's not a push where it's done as a joke. That's what at least it looks like. But of course, Mr. Ravi there and Barka believe that there could be a backstory to it. It could be a joke as well. And probably we are hoping that the actor, with all the uproar that's happening everywhere, let's hope that people get a clearer picture through a statement that he puts out, through a statement that his political party puts out, because somewhere, being accountable matters, because this is not just an individual who's an actor, but also a politician. I'm thanking all our panelists, but before we wrap, several questions were asked about the audio on this file and what exactly happened. I'm going to leave you with the full screen visual of what exactly played out so that viewers, you can decide whether this was justified or not. I'm slipping into a quick break after that.